Welcome to the Morningstar series Market Reaction. I'm Holly Black. I'm joined now by Kaustubh Belapurkar, who is our fund research analyst in India for Morningstar. Welcome to the studio.
Hi, Holly.
So it's quite a big day in India, or quite a big week after 6 weeks of voting, 900 million people at the polling stations. Prime Minister Modi has got a second term in office. Can you tell us a bit more about what's going on?
Yeah, so it's been a very whirlwind last 6 to 12 months really, and the incumbent government with Prime Minister Modi has been going through what I would define as a slightly rough patch through late last year, where they actually lost some of the crucial key state elections. We had a run-up where the opposition was making a lot of noise about certain corruption deals, and also there was a bunch of regional parties that came together and formed a sort of coalition leading up to the elections, which was causing a lot of external noise for the government. So even the markets were kind of unsure where it was going to go. But as the results of the exit polls came in and the actual results poured in, I think it's been a very impressive victory for the incumbent BJP government, which has obviously taken the best of analysts by a very positive surprise.
What's the initial reaction from the stock market been? I think the India stock market is near a record high this morning.
So it did, so if you look at the stock market, and I'll just maybe take a step back, as I was alluding to, the markets were kind of pricing in a marginal victory for the incumbent government. And when the exit poll results came out, the market earlier this week, the markets actually zoomed by almost 3.5%, pretty much pricing in a Modi government coming to the center stage. And when the actual results were announced yesterday, the markets did zoom up quite significantly when we saw that the BJP government itself was going to get a simple majority. But there was a little bit of a reality check given that the Asian markets were sort of down and most of the global markets are down. So they did kind of correct at the end of the day. But I think generally, if you look at it today, the markets are again back up. So the sentiment seems to be very strong, having a stable government back in the center.
So what does this mean for anyone who is investing in an emerging markets or an India fund?
So, now sentiment aside, right now you obviously have a stable government. That is a huge positive for the markets, because the government can now make good, their policy reform agenda. They can really push some good bills through and really get India back to that economic growth path. We've seen some major reforms that Modi took in his first term, and they're yet to play out, and in fact it did affect a little bit of a tepid growth for the Indian economy. So that needs to kind of now really bloom up completely and take the full course. So that's something that's going to be pushed through very strongly by by the Modi government starting very soon. Obviously there are a few other factors that need to take care of. Corporate profitability and revenue growth hasn't been that strong, so hopefully the government spending, corporate spending coming back should ideally help the markets really recognize some of that, and the market should do well. As an emerging market investor, I think the tone could be slightly different. India is obviously, from where we look at it, it's going to be one of the favorites amongst the emerging markets pack. But given the noise around some of the other extraneous factors between US and China, emerging markets as a pack could be slightly on a back foot. But I think India amongst that pack, definitely with the strong government coming in, is going to be strong. But domestically, we think investors are going to return in a huge way, given the confidence that's coming through for the economy with a strong government coming back.
Fantastic. Kaustubh, thank you so much for your time. This is Holly Black for Morningstar. Thanks for joining us.